they influenced a lot of people, and we now have over 250 million users worldwide. And
Wow.
a lot of functionality that we introduced in Aloha first is now things you use every day. And so we isolated all the AI code on special modules, and when you hit the button, these modules will never run. So it just destroys everything AI in Aloha. And that's for people who kind of concerned about the privacy.
All right. Welcome everyone to today's exciting interview. We have a very special guest with us tonight, the visionary founder of Aloha Browser, Aloha VPN, and Private AI, among so many others, Andrew Frost. Andrew
Hi.
has been hello. Andrew has been a trailblazer in the field of digital privacy, launching over 100 web and mobile international projects across the US, Europe, and EMEA segments. His relentless pursuit of enhancing online security and privacy has earned Aloha Browser a nomination for the prestigious Golden Kitty Award in 2016, placing it alongside tech giants like Slack and Jiffy. Without further ado, let's welcome the mind behind Aloha Browser, Andrew Moroz.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Hassan, for hosting me today. So I'm happy to be here, happy to represent Aloha. I think it's a very important thing we both do because I believe that still a lot of people undereducated on digital hygiene and their privacy overall. So let's dig in.
Sure. All right. Since we mentioned 100 web and mobile international projects, can you tell me about two of the most exciting or unusual projects you've worked on and what made them stand out?
Sure. Well, I had a lot of experience working on very little different things. I think worth mentioning. So I was with Condé Nast, which is a publishing house, publishing a very big glances like Wired, New Yorker, Vogue, and GQ. And it was a time since the first iPad came out. So I've been working on iPad magazines and all the apps, and it was exciting times to see it from different perspective. I was always fascinated by mobile devices and everything mobile. I was still couldn't wait for like personal mobile device to come out, and let's say in 1999, probably we were just like mobile phones are starting to came up, and there were like the Palm devices, right? Which was a very limited device, but still it like showed the future. And I did a lot of stuff, a lot of utilities for Palm OS, for Symbian, and for like early mobile devices. That's kind of where it led me here to Aloha Browser, which I'm currently working with for almost 10 years. We're almost on the market. I think worth mentioning also, I was also working on a hardware side of the things. I was working on Zigbee modules. I don't know if you're familiar, which is now an underlying protocol for a lot of IoT stuff. And that was the times where I fell in love with security and privacy, and especially with like small devices, right? As that you put in your home and let somebody to over the internet to control it, which is kind of scary and fun and exciting on the other side, right? And
I agree. Yes, it is pretty scary, but it is also exciting coming from, you were talking about things that existed in 1999. I still remember Palm OS. I still remember Blackberries. I still remember texting to get ringtones for your mobile, right? So we've come a long way from there.
yeah, exactly. And it's always been a pleasure to be a part of it. And yes, you probably know a lot of things we did in Aloha, they influenced a lot of people, and we now have over 250 million users worldwide. And
Wow.
a lot of functionality that we introduced in Aloha first is now things you use every day.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Andrew. Uh, so I read your LinkedIn article, Can We Stop AI from Destroying Americans' Online Privacy? And I couldn't help but question that the idea of AI creating digital twins is fascinating and scary at the same time. Have you actually encountered or heard of a real life instance where someone was fooled by an AI generated twin, or where AI stole users' data, where the implications were that they directly affected the user?
Well, we see it all the time. And so, first of all, let's start with the whole concept of digital twin, like what it is. And so, imagine you as a person, right? You have a lot of things in your mind. You have a lot of stuff that you produce, like as a writer, as a podcaster, as the video host person, right? There's like something came out of you, but there's still like a lot of things hidden inside you that you probably don't want everybody to know, right? Because if there is a digital twin of you, which is basically an AI trained the same way on the same data as you, then it might probably hold of a lot of information you don't want to share. Maybe it can even guess your own password, right? Because if it knows the same, probably it uses the same things to generate passwords like you do. Uh, and let's say bad actor, they can just talk to this digital twin and ask it, I don't know, like, what are you gonna gift your wife on Christmas, right? Or do you want to propose to your fiance, and like how it's gonna happen, and like what's your password, what's your political views, and stuff like that that we probably don't want to share, and especially when we don't want to share it with a machine that lives in a cloud and anybody can ask it. So I think the digital twin thing is kind of more scary than useful. I mean, there are some things that might be useful right now. Let's say ChatGPT help coders, which is also like it help coders help do their work, but it also help hackers to find exploits or something. So we have to be very careful. There's a lot of regulations coming up, and there's some regulations that's been introduced in EU. I think it's a very early and the first and necessary step. But yeah, everybody has to be very careful with it. As for specific cases, I think the one everybody heard of is a Scarlett Johansson voice in ChatGPT. Like, isn't it a stealing? Uh,
It is.
well, I don't know. I'm not a judge, right? But still, or a lot of deepfakes that goes around the internet. It may not be like stealing your data directly, but it does impersonate you. It does things you probably don't do or don't want to do and don't want to be associated with you. So there's a lot of threats. And the same thing happens with the music industry, like where they try to generate songs and stuff. Also AI, because it learned on everything humans produced for, I don't know, 100 years. It comes up with the same jingles that somebody else does, right? And like if you're a good person and let's say good producer, you will probably double check, right? But some people, they just rush into market, they never check, they just go for it. And there we have it. We have a lot of complaints about it. And I've actually heard lots of stories in UK where a deep fake of their relatives, like calling them on WhatsApp and FaceTime and asking for money, and they've been sending them. So
Yes.
it becomes a problem, right? And although most of acts now like ban producing of deep fakes, but like if you really want to do, who will stop you? There's still plenty of code on GitHub, plenty of tools available in the App Store or Google Play, or just simple download from a web page. So yeah, we're moving towards a scary future.
Plus, everything is open source now, so you know, I agree with everything you said. Yes, it does scare me. Speaking of AI becoming dangerous in the future, my next question is that the kill all AI feature in Aloha Browser sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little more about this feature and what inspired this idea, and how do users typically react to it?
So let's start with that in Aloha, we always put user privacy first. We believe that privacy is a fundamental human right, should be available to everybody, and you should not pay for it. I mean, even if you, I don't know, pay a little bit, it's probably going to be looking like, so you're a free person, you have to pay $1.99 per month to somebody to stay free. Kind of ridiculous, right? So we believe the same thing should be with privacy. It's basic human right, should be available to everybody, should be very simple, should be straightforward, out of the box. And everything we do in Aloha, we look at from this perspective. So, of course, when AI started growing on the market, and we saw that everything that was available was very like trackable, right? And like you chat with ChatGPT, they use your prompts to teach the next model and stuff like that. And unintentionally, you may share the data you don't want to share, like, I don't know, your passport number or something. So we started looking on it, like what we can do, we as a company, for our user base who concerns about privacy, who knows that we will protect them, what we can do. So we didn't jump on the train like straight away, like everybody else. We did a lot of research on our side. We made sure that everything we provide is extremely private and like makes sense from a lot of angles. So for example, we remove all the fingerprinting. So we mix all the requests so it cannot be attributed to you specifically. We clean a lot of extra information that's been shared. We make sure that the data you provide to AI assistant, we as a company don't see. And only AI can see it. And when it can see it, it doesn't learn on it, right? So we did our best. We put it out there, we launched it, and then we got some feedback from our users. They were like, okay, I still don't believe AI is private. Like, okay, what can we do? So, okay, there's a lot of people exist in the world, and we believe that everybody still has to execute their right to privacy, right? So we were like, okay, so what if we just, I don't know, hide all the AI functionality? But it's not going to be like a completely honest because it's still there. So, and we believe like, what if you're a Sarah Connor in a Terminator movie and like you just hate him for some reason? I don't know. It's not for us to judge you, right? So we were like, okay, so let's make a button. And so we isolated all the AI code and special modules. And when you hit the button, these modules will never run. So it basically, it just destroys everything AI in Aloha. And that's for people who kind of concerns about their privacy. And we do see there's, thousands of people who prefer that.
I can't wait to try out this feature for myself. It sounds really fun. Kill all AI. Nice.
Yeah, try it on. Try it on. It's already live, available for iOS and Android.
All right, great. So let's move on to the next question. Aloha Browser offers enhanced privacy features like VPN integration. Can you elaborate on how these tools help protect users' online activities and personal data? You've already talked about killing all AI, but let's talk VPN specifically.
Yeah, sure. So, as I said, we believe that the privacy is fundamental. So every feature we have in our browser more or less touches privacy in some way. And it's also important to mention that unlike other browsers, our business model is very clear. We're probably the only browser out there who been developing on our users' money. They literally pay us with premium subscription, and we use this money not to enrich ourselves, but to make a product better, right? And I think that's very transparent, that's very honest. So we don't have any hidden trackers, we don't have any advertiser trackers, we don't have a lot of analytics or telemetry like everybody else does. Because I don't know, when I'm looking at the internet and I see a lot of advertisement of try this privacy browser, try this extra secure VPN, and it's shown like as an advertisement on Facebook, which probably means that they have a Facebook tracker in the app to track the performance. Like how this can be private, I don't understand that. So that's why you probably haven't seen Aloha advertised anywhere. And yeah, it's kind of hard, but I think it's very, very important. So that's the first thing that I want to highlight. We don't have any trackers. We don't have advertisement for this specific reason. Do we want to earn a little bit more? Sure we do, but that will compromise our mission and our beliefs. So we will not do that. The second important thing is the fingerprinting protection, which we do in a little bit different way than everybody else does, because what others do, they just like try to clear all the data, so for you not to be identified. But I don't think it's right, because imagine you're a person, and like we use your face to identify you in a crowd of people. So you clear your face and suddenly you see like 1,000 people and the one without a face. Would that be easier to identify? Probably, right? So what we do, we just use a fake data and try to use this like different mechanics for any fingerprinting methods to not be able to identify you specifically. So a lot of users of Aloha look exactly the same for them. Or like you probably come on Tuesday, you look like one person, you come on Thursday, you look like a completely different person. So that's a way we're approaching fingerprinting. You mentioned VPN, which is also very, very important. So first of all, it's free and limited for all, because we do believe that it's also quite important to be able to encrypt your traffic and not to be intercepted on public Wi-Fi's or by your internet service provider or whatever. So it is free and unlimited. There are some paid services I mentioned, the premium subscription. I'll talk about it a little bit later. So for VPN, we use our own patented protocol that we specifically created for Aloha for our mission and for our vision. Because, well, you know, the VPN as a technology been on the market for a long time. But the first thing, like when it's been created for different reasons, right? It's been created to connect two computers in different networks. And now we use it for encrypting traffic. Yeah, you can use it, but it's like, I don't know, hitting the nails with a microscope, right? So it's not, it doesn't work properly in some cases. That's why you see like a lot of VPN apps, they offer like multiple protocols. You have to go there, fiddle with them, switch from one to another until you find the thing that works. We believe it's too complex, right? Because I don't know, if you're an old lady who not very into computer, does it mean you don't need a protection? Yeah, of course you do. So it has to be very simple. And with our one tap button, the underlying code on a VPN, so it detects for your specific conditions which is the best protocol for you, which is the best server for you, so your internet connection won't degrade a lot when you turn on VPN. What's the encryption level we should use for this specific case? And it does like very fast decisions. And if you move around, it may choose like a different server. In the end, it's going to be like completely transparent for you. And what also very, very important is we see a lot of uncertainty going in the world. There's a lot of revolutions or military coups, and the first thing they do, they limit internet access. So our VPN is taught to understand that. And let's say if there's a revolution and we see like a huge spike of users in one specific country, then we'll scale automatically to make sure that we can cover all these people, because they come for us for our free and limited VPN, and they know that we won't share the data with anybody. For our 10 years on the market, we shared zero data. And primarily is because we have nothing to share, right? So I don't know, if somebody comes knocking on my door and they're like, give me all your data, like, there you go, it's a blank page. We don't have anything. So we believe that's important. Uh, there is a premium subscription worth mentioning for one simple reason. So as I said, all the basic privacy functionality to make sure you're private and protected are free. It's totally free. As for paid subscription, we call it the comfort features. So, okay, like you're an advanced user, you want something specific, you want VPN to do specifically this or specifically that for your own reasons, then you'll probably have to pay for it. And this money, as I said, that helps us to provide free service for others, right? It's not like you pay for a fancy VPN app that you found on your favorite YouTuber promoting. Well, that's probably all the price you paid for it. It goes for another YouTube promotion and not for other people, right? So let's do good. Let's use Aloha. And the next important thing worth mentioning is ad blocking, which is also integrated. We use a few partners to make sure that we up to date on that. Okay, there's a lot of improvements still to be made on that front, but that's because it's a constant battle always with advertisement and ad blocking. Plus, we do support an acceptable ads, which is basically means that you do support journalism and websites who get the revenue from advertisement. So you can go turn it off if you want, like if you don't want to have anything, but we make sure through our partners that the list we use in acceptable ads is up to date and does not threat your privacy, which is extremely important. And also, by not allowing to show a lot of ads and trackers on a website, we do save a lot of things for user, like hours of loading a web page, gigawatts of energy that your phone doesn't use to process all the animation and stuff, right? So it literally saves your battery. So why not give it a try? And another thing is that on desktop versions of Aloha, we don't use Chromium like everybody else, because well, Chromium is mostly made by big corporations, and they still contribute in a lot. And of course, they do good for the internet, but they do good for themselves as well. So we have a special dedicated team that takes the pieces of Chromium that we use, which is a rendering engine, a JavaScript engine, and they make sure, they double check that it's not compromising the privacy in any way. Because I don't know if you know, but if you have a spell checker in your Chrome on, then everything you type in boxes goes to Google, which is kind of scary.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
But yeah, it's worth mentioning. So our team completely cleans all this stuff and make sure that the pieces that we use are fully private. And of course, worth mentioning is the simplicity. Because as I said, yes, privacy can be complicated with a lot of 3 letters, a lot of deep technical knowledge, a lot of guessing, like, is this good or this is good? So what we do, we try to make it simple. We try to put decision making on your device, not even on us, on your device, because it knows you better, right? We don't want to know that. It happens on your device. It picks best settings for you for this specific moment, and it just works, which is important. Because if you're in a critical situation and you need private internet connection immediately, you can always rely on Aloha. It will work.
So let's move on. We were talking about privacy, right? So I really want an answer about this. So in your article, you mentioned looking under the hood of privacy policies and settings. Now, people always have a different answer for this. I want to hear what you say. Have you ever discovered something shocking or unexpected in a privacy policy?
Oh, well, I tend to read most of them, mostly because I have, call it professional deformation, but I do read a lot of them. And, for big companies, privacy policies are usually like very let's call it legally worded, right? So if you're a simple person, you try, even if you want to try to read it, you kind of getting bored, you get lost because they use wording that kind of very complex and very, very legal, right? Smaller companies, they like tend to face to their users, they either provide like a short version written with the basic words, or like try not to be that complex. And what's my favorite thing is when like you download one product, but it has like 3 or 4 different privacy policies for every specific part of it. Uh, I think it's nice because I don't know, I can accept a privacy policy for like function A, but I won't accept for function B. And it's kind of it still let me use the product, right? And still I will try to do my best to believe that they will respect my choices. Uh, and what I really don't like, and what I really, really hate, and that's definitely should be changed, is back to IoT devices. So anytime you buy IoT devices, it asks you for a location. I want to ask why. Like, they were like, we will put your Wi-Fi name automatically. Let me put it manually. I don't want to share my location because you will know, I don't know, you have this heater, the smart heater that I use at my home, so you will know where I live, right? What do you do with this data? And then you read their privacy policy, and they're like, yeah, we have a selected partners, we share it with blah, blah, blah. So I think it's a very, very bad practice. I always put them 1 star in app stores and try to complain whatever I can.
I agree. I haven't done the 1 star thing, but I agree. This is a very common practice. Yes.
I hate it. I hate it.
So let's move on. Andrew, with the rise of generative AI tools like Llama 3.0, Grok, and possibly GPT-5 in the future, privacy concerns are at an all-time high. Can you share how Aloha Browser helps users navigate these risks and protect their personal data while using these AI tools? So you've already spoken about that, but let's talk about the specifics.
Yeah. So first of all, the ultimate goal is that AI should run on device. It's your data, it should stay in your pocket. It should be run on your device, like very occasionally asking cloud for help, but these asks should be user initiated. I mean, I want to know where I don't know, take a picture of something and it's being shared. I want it to be asked, like, do you really want to upload it? Or it will be, I don't know, keep process it on device, although you will not get better results, right? So that's where we move towards to. So obviously you cannot run GPT even 4, not a 5 on an iPhone, say, right? It does consume a lot of power, a lot of resources, but there's still a lot of smaller models like Llama that and some other open source one that you can actually run on device. Yeah, they might be not that smart, but do we really need that smart thing at this specific moment on in your phone right now? Probably not, because a lot of queries that you send to ChatGPT, they'll be like, hi, what's the recipe for ABC? And it's very basic, and that your phone can do already now. But with the next generation phones that came out, like Apple tried to do it as well. And yeah, the processing power is still getting better and better. So, and the models themselves, they get way more optimized. So I think it very, very nearest future we will get to that, and we will be able to provide Aloha AI like completely private that stays on your device.
I'm really looking forward to it. Since we're talking about the future, with over 100 projects under your belt, what's next in the horizon? And are there any upcoming projects that you're particularly excited about? I know this is confidential information, but I'd really like to know.
That's great. Well, I still believe that Aloha still has a long way to go. And we do have a lot of tricks up in our sleeve that we currently work on. Let's call it a browser of future. Hopefully it will come in some foreseeable time, maybe a couple of months. That will be able to show something that nobody ever done before, and that will help you as an end user stay private, work on your everyday life, and without distractions, and you'll be enjoying internet again.
I wish you good luck for that, Andrew. And it was very, very enjoyable and enlightening having a conversation for you today. And I look forward to many further interviews after your new browser comes out.
Thanks, Hassan. We're always here to help you. We very open. We very open with the journalists, with our users. So we always reply if you have any issues or information or tips. Our support channel is always welcome, and we're always waiting for ideas, recommendations, feedback, because when you're a private browser, you cannot just go and look and tell like this people like that, this people like that. So it's very important to have this feedback loop. So for you and for our users, please share your thoughts.